Alright, it started at 5 seconds where I started this episode of the Intendor show, Intendor radio. I didn't get everything done I was supposed to get done today. I didn't call the FEC. All I know is what I read on the forums, and you're all going to find out with me what it really takes to become a U.S. Senator. And you have to decide as voters whether you want me, a working class scholar. I got books to prove it, and I am a scholar and an artist, certifying strength, wisdom, beauty, and humor in all of my work. Strength, wisdom, beauty, and humor, and it's MICE. Stands for money, ideology, compromise, and ego. When I did my great study of human motivations in relation, it was the study of espionage that led me to Ken Barrow's book, KGB. And the KGB used MICE, which stands for money, ideology, compromise, and ego, to get people to do what they want. Those are the motivations of people, you as well. To finish my study, I threw the I Ching, and it came back and added to MICE S. So it's MICES. And MICE, the S stands for spontaneous affection. So we are motivated by money, ideology, compromise, and ego, and spontaneous affection, which is not necessarily rational. Okay? What's going to motivate you? I know the Intendor that I've created for my currency, for my country, Transcendia. The Intendor is superior because it's nationalistic. It overcomes the flaw of communism in that instead of taking your inheritance and giving it to the state, it creates for you, the individual, an inheritance, giving you two payouts. One, when you're going to higher education or starting a business. You reach an age of maturity, and you got to start paying into the system, which takes part of the equity and shares it to create the currency, the bank. A skew of the important skew that people need to get a hold of and apply to the Middle East is the Palestinians ought to be insuring the Israelis, and the Israelis insuring the Palestinians. On the face of it, it's fair, and it creates a disincentive for the killings. Gendarmes, an overwhelming presence of gendarmes, and or what was called the U.S. Constabulary Service at one point, when the U.S. was wise, is what it would take for peace in the Middle East. They're going to stay there, and they want to stay there. Anyway, that's not the radio show. Vita Williams says, describe your sex life using a movie title. Somebody put down Dirty Dancing, The Good, Bad, and the Weird. Once upon a time in America, they must have been thinking about the cupcake. And one is Missing. Christina Benson puts up, warning, this is a shocking video of utter devastation that Saudi-led coalition forces are leaving in the wake of indiscriminately bombing numerous residential neighborhoods, including schools, markets, and hospitals in Yemen. This event with the Saudis going on and using their own military is significant because of our petrodollar deal, which was basically the U.S. commitment to provide the muscle for whatever the Saudi family felt was going to make them more secure. It was part of a deal whereby the Saudis were protected from the Israelis by the U.S. As the petrodollar deal wobbles, the Saudis went off and started doing something by themselves, see how they could do it. That's what they're doing in Yemen, and that's what's disconcerting to the State Department. Alright, so it shows these pictures of it, and it's, is there a title I can give you? It's shared from Human Rights Watch. It looks like a tough there video. Does anybody know what kind of hummingbird this is? It's a horse looking at the sugar in a hummingbird feeder from Gail Barger. Robert Griffin puts up something from James Morgan. It's a video. A lot of the stuff now isn't even written anymore. I got 2 videos. It's party time. I even made one. The people at a party. It was Agonist, and then there was I got it written down. Well, you need to look at my Facebook page, Russell Scott Day, and you need to look at founder of Transcendia. Jack Whitebread puts up who's your most attractive friend, and some people think Michael, his other name, is the most attractive friend. It's like I wrote this thing today. I put on LinkedIn and Facebook. They ask you to put on post on, these websites get a lot of free content, and I give it to them just the same as anybody else. It's supposed to do me good. I put it on LinkedIn first. That's where I wrote it. Just spun it out as I write, and these are letters. I use the letter. I would call that a letter, but it's called I'm Perfect. I Am Perfect. If you want to look that up on LinkedIn, it went to my Twitter, Transcendian. And as you know, if you're watching this, I'll continue my radio show, my Intendor radio show. And we'll see if we can make me into a U.S. Senator from North Carolina who needs me. Representative Greg Meyer, who represents this 4th District in the state. Well, he represents Orange County and part of Durham and another county, but I know he represents me, but he's big on educational issues. There's a broad bipartisan support for this in the House, Meyer says. Gerrymandering in North Carolina. They're trying to, a lot of places are trying to get over this gerrymandering that corrupts part of the democracy we depend on. It's William James in his Harvard lectures said democracy is delicate, and presidential electoral democracy is the most delicate. My friend Garth, similar education and meritocratic efforts at doing what he's going to be doing with his life, put up a artist photo of a woman looking at herself in the mirror. It's a painting. It's real nice if you like to look at pretty women. America is becoming more socially inclusive. Not long ago, same-sex marriage was abhorrent to a majority of Americans, but now most approve of it. Caitlyn Jenner is being celebrated for her courage. The Confederate flag is being removed from public buildings and grounds. Even conservatives now agree fewer people should be imprisoned. Well, that's the war on drugs. The war on drugs is what Stop and Frisk was looking for: guns and drugs. And they stop people looking for drugs, and that's why every neighborhood in the world, in the country, is, at war one way or another, or you can be stopped. They're looking for some pot in your pocket. All right, let's see. Casey Jones Parker is going to be back in town. An awesome opportunity for us to get back together again. Gloria and I are hosting, and so there's a party coming up, and there's an announcement of that. Blimey, 2 police cars in a van outside number 41 or 39. That's from Andrea Collins in England. And she always has some little interesting stories to tell. Tom Maxwell of Squirrel Nut Zippers got a nice picture of himself with a pretty woman, and he and this pretty woman, it's Tom Maxwell and Brooke Tellico, are going to live in New Orleans. I told the people that were living above us in Findlay Forest, and they were getting ready to move when they were getting ready to move to New Orleans, I said they needed to get put a helicopter pilot on retainers so he'd come and get them when the hurricane came and flooded it, because it was predicted in Scientific American that the Katrina would happen and it would be a bad event. I'm sure those people thought about me. They don't like me too much anyway. I didn't get along with them too well. Anyway, Kanye West detained after murdering Bohemian Rhapsody. What the hell? I don't really get that, but he was born on my hero's day of death, I believe. He was born the day Fred Hampton was murdered, and he at least did a rap about Fred Hampton, who was the most Christ-like individual I've ever been in contact with. Bishop Curry of the Episcopal Church came a little bit close. He's been made the overall bishop for the Episcopal Church, and he was the one that approved our special service. He was the head of the diocese. And I had a special service when I married my wife. We had a special service with readings for the day, and I read from the I Ching. The I Ching's answer during our message, about questions about our marriage, is a time of decrease. And there have been a lot of pressures on us. I had a lot of bad health events. Guts tore up. I got 2 plastic eyes. Titanium thing in my neck keep me from being paralyzed. I got 2 hips, 2 replaced hips. I had hospital psychosis, stuff like that. Anyway, this has been the radio show. There's a moment of homeless poodle realizes she's being adopted. Nice picture, dog. I think of Bella in history. That's a wonderful thing that Elsa Morante wrote. History, you ought to read it. But it does capture the animals' lives that we share together. We share our lives with our pets, our animals, and they think about us and we think about them. I knew I was seen as God. I knew what God must feel like when my wife and I were leaving the house one time, and all 7 cats came to the parking lot, sat there and watched us leave. All right, this is the end of the show. Thank you very much for watching today. It's been hot, and I just couldn't dress up for it today.